Mike, how much of the defensive struggles yesterday are players that are unavailable due to injury, changes in the coaching, you and Shane, the changes on the coaching front, just how good was Gardner Minshew yesterday, and how much of it can be cleaned up quickly?
It's a lot, Teresa, for me to handle all at once. I think it's always a combination of a lot of things. There's good football in there. There's some things that we have to clean up. We have to coach and play better. We have to get off the field on third down. We have to play with, not give up X plays. A lot of the keys that we talk about each and every week. So I know that there's good football in there. We got evidence on film of what it looks like. And then there were some plays that they just, flat out made. Guys were in tight coverage. I don't know what you tell Jayon. I don't know what you tell some of those guys that, are in tight coverage and he puts the ball in there and they make a play. But there's other ones where we have to get cleaned up and not have runs that are explosive gains, not passes that go over our head. And those are the things we're going to have to get corrected and make sure that we're all working together to get them fixed.
Teron?
Yeah, Coach, specifically on that run defense, what do you think was the key, now that you got to watch, what do you think was the key? What went wrong there for 165 ground yards?
Yeah, it's called edge, wall, and swarm. That's going to be the answer to every run game question that we'll ever have. So when you either don't set the edge or you don't have a wall or you're not swarming, which means there's going to be some missed tackles. So that'll be the question from here for as long as I can remember about the run game. That's really what it comes down to.
All right, and then shifting to the offense, Jonnu and Tannehill seem to really have something going, especially in the red zone. What are you seeing develop there? What's your reasoning for that?
Just think he continues to build confidence in him. He attacks the football, he goes up and gets it. I thought there were some really good examples of Corey doing that, Jonnu doing that as well. The line, gave us some time to be able to progress back to Jonnu, as well as to get over there to Corey as another option. And so, the last one to Jonnu, he kind of just dumped it to him, and Jonnu plowed it in there from the 3 or the 4.
Eric?
Hey, Mike, just looking at the workload of some of the guys like Landry and Clowney, how important is it going to be to get, Vic Beasley and or Derek Roberson in the mix, just purely from the standpoint of, we need to be able to give some of our other guys a break?
We just want to try to get 11 guys out there that know what to do to play fast and aggressive.
Jim?
Mike, as far as the running game goes, what have you seen from Derek so far, offensive line and the offensive line, and what have teams done to defend you and really keep him from busting long ones?
They've tackled him. We got to coach better. We got to block better. We got to run better. So it ain't about Derek. It ain't about the coaching. It ain't about the line. It's about everybody coming together and doing a better job and coordinating it and blocking. And when we block it well, we got to run well and take care of the football.
Corey?
Hey, Coach, I saw Rashaan Evans coming from the edge a number of times in the game. Is that strictly a numbers situation where you needed the help over there, or trying to take advantage of something that you think he can do pretty well?
No, that's just part of the scheme that we had for that game, and where we were putting some pieces and moving guys around.
John?
Mike, wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of your rookies there yesterday. You wanted to take a kind of a closer look at Fulton to see how he played, and then Murchison, his first NFL game. What your thoughts on him as well?
Yeah, they played with good effort, and Christian caught the one that got tipped up, so that was good. But they'll keep working and progressing, and Felt like, for the first extended action, for both of those players, I know Christian got some snaps in there against Denver, but it's something that we can continue to build on.
And just one other on a specific play on that 3rd and 1 pitch to Derek that didn't go so well. Just looking back, was it just too much penetration on that play? Anything in particular on that one play that?
Yeah, we got to coach it better. We got to block it better, and we got to run better. It's pretty astute. I think that's probably what happened.
Paul? David?
Mike, you had the 3 false starts there in about a minute. Were you guys doing something with the snap count that maybe ended up working against you, or what was going on there?
Well, the one thing we've been focused on, at least, is trying to take advantage of when those players cross into the neutral zone, David, and that we then react accordingly. Unfortunately, we'll have to continue to work and practice and coach that to make sure that they're actually crossing over. As with 2 of those up front that we reacted when players hadn't actually crossed in, they just kind of moved laterally. And we've done it, at times where we've done it properly, where they cross into the neutral zone and we move. Dennis Kelly had one, and then we actually got another one later on in the game. But Dennis had one on 3rd down against the Broncos. But you got to make sure that they're breaking the plane of the neutral zone, before you react. The players on that side, the receivers, anybody lined up to either side of the ball is protected when a defensive player crosses over into the neutral zone. But you have to make sure that they actually cross before you move or react to them. And so that's something that we'll continue to work on to try to take advantage of when they do cross into the neutral zone, that we're moving and getting those free yards. But it wasn't that wasn't executed very well. And then, Derek flinched, I think, on the other one.
I think Paul has rejoined us, so you want to try again?
Hey, Mike, what's the blitz philosophy in a game like that when the secondary maybe is struggling a little bit? What your risk reward thinking there in terms of maybe sending more guys?
Well, I think all the time is trying to find ways to disrupt the timing. There were some quick throws and he was getting the ball out of his hand. And, I think that there were times where we did it, and there was times where it looked like we knew what we were doing, and we were trying to disrupt the ball, and Harold tipped one. And then obviously we got one, there that was the difference in the game. But it's about being able to coordinate, the rush and coordinate the pressure and being on these guys and mixing in, man and zone and all those other different looks for the quarterback.
You had a couple screens set up there that looked like they might have gone big. The bad throw to Henry and the one that didn't get off to Jonnu. How big of plays might those have been if you had executed?
That's a lot of those times in those man coverage deals, you have to be able to get the one guy. And if you can get the one guy, you can get an explosive gain. Jonnu, they tried to screen against Jayon, and they weren't able to get him. And it was a 5-yard loss. So those are just kind of, you block them up against, coach them against zone that the guys are going and getting their guys down the field. Those linemen at the, getting down to the second level. And then also, you have to rep them against the man coverage, because most teams, I would imagine, just like us, are taught to go hug their guy. And if you get them blocked, you can get a big one. And so, we'll keep working and we'll keep trying to make sure that we can execute them in all different types of coverages and also against, whatever pressure.
Gentry?
Yeah, Mike, there are reports again this morning, the league's looking at coaches wearing masks on the sideline during games. And now that you've been through it a couple of weeks, obviously everybody wants to be safe, but how realistic is this, you know, in the course of doing your job, that you're going to be able to wear that the whole time?
Well, I think it's just something that we all have to concentrate on. And, you know, it's important that you communicate with the players. The headset is fine, but the ability to, you know, just talk to the player from a, you know, just a quick standpoint as they're coming off, sometimes that the mask could maybe hinder that process a little bit.
Terry?
Mike, how good was it to be able to get a guy like Cameron Batson pulled up from the practice squad and him be able to contribute with a couple things like he did yesterday?
It was a player that, you know, took advantage of his opportunities, you know, handed it to him, and, you know, also had some good catches. He was prepared and was able to step in there and you know, do a couple things that really helped us win. You know, so it's always good. I know he's battled some injuries in the past with us, and really hasn't gotten off, you know, hasn't really taken off because of those injuries. And, you know, some of those are, you know, no fault of his own, but, you know, it's good to see him take advantage of being active and getting some snaps for us.
And then being at the end with Joseph being out of the game. I noticed you had Ty Smith out there at the end. Was Jackson also dinged, or just a decision to go with a different guy down the stretch there?
Those were the guys that were available. You know, I mean, you get into these games and everybody has to be ready to go. And it was good to see Ty step up in there and be able to finish the game, you know, for us and help us in that situation.
Joe?
Yeah, Mike, do you think a team can kind of grow an ability to be more clutch late in games and close games over time? And do you think you've seen any of that with your team?
Well, I mean, I think that you can. I think that you can make sure that the players understand those situations. You can coach them. You can rep them. You know, we would rather them not be that close, but you know, sometimes they are. And to be able to execute and everybody understand the situation, not panic. You know, those 3 points at the end of half were huge. You know, be able to knock that ball down there by Kalu. Offense, be able to execute a down timeout situation with Ferk, and you know, the O-line giving the quarterback time and giving him a good ball. And then obviously Steven, you know, being able to make that 51-yarder. You make a 51-yarder at the end of half, and at the end of the game, you know, those are positive things. And, you know, we would have liked to have done better offensively, you know, there, but the way that it turned out, we needed to get a few more yards, try to get a few more yards. And I think that's what we did. And then the defense was able to finish it off there at the end.
How important is confidence from your quarterback and in your quarterback in that way?
Well, I mean, I think he has to have confidence in the guys that he's throwing to, be decisive. I don't think we have any panic. I think we're all on the same page on the sidelines is what we're trying to do. And then, you know, going out there and operating decisively. But, you know, that's who you have confidence. He has the ball in his hand. And so it's important that, you know, we trust Ryan to make the right decisions. And he did for the most part yesterday.
Steve?
Hey, Mike, some people have noted the rushing average for Derek through the first 2 weeks, but he got to an important number yesterday in 25, and you guys are 9-0 when he gets to that number of carries. How important is the patience in the running game of sticking with it? And through 2 weeks, how successful do you view the number of carries and the balance you've achieved versus what that rushing average is?
I mean, we'd like to be obviously as efficient as we possibly can and gain as many yards as we can, but you know, you have to stay balanced and you have to know that and have some of that faith and confidence that he's going to break one and, you know, continue to coordinate it and work it, you know, each and every week and make it better. And so there was a lot of evidence of us doing things well. And then, you know, for a few reasons, there was times where we didn't do it very well. So we'd like to have more of the coordinated offense where everybody's working in unison and eliminate the negative or no gains, or, the times when a quarterback has to throw the ball away or nobody's open. So, I don't really look at the number of carries. We look at how the flow is going and where he's at. But, we'd like to be more efficient in all phases of our team.
How important is keeping that level of balance for the red zone stat where you guys have been so good down there? You've done it mostly through passing down there, but has the balance, you think, allowed you to do that?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to do what they give it, take what they give us, and if we can get it in there and we can convert, on the ground, we'd love to be able to do that. But the way that it kind of worked out yesterday, well, we got favorable looks and we're able to throw it in.
Chris Harris.
Hey, Mike, I'm just curious now that you've had the chance to look at 2 games, and while as a team, as you say, you guys may not be, executing at your best by any means, how encouraging is it that you're still able to be off to a 2-0 start despite that?
It is, you're fortunate to be 2-0, but you're also, you want to continue to improve. And I think if we don't continue to improve quickly, these are going to probably go the other way. And, I think that's the message that we have to relay to the players is that, we're happy to be 2-0 and we're lucky in a lot of ways, but there's been a lot of good stuff we got to clean up and then continue to eliminate the stuff that could potentially get us beat, the X plays. We've taken care of the football. We've gotten 3 turnovers. Those are all things that, are going to help us win by being +3 in the turnover margin right now. And that's where we have to continue to talk to these guys about just cleaning up some of the other stuff and trying to improve.
Emily?
Coach, a tough day in the NFL for some major injuries. I know it was a concern going into this year with the lack of preseason, but is there anything you guys are doing right now proactively to both avoid injury and make sure everybody's ready to go should their number be called upon unexpectedly?
Well, we always, we're always trying to make sure that everybody's ready to go and that they understand what their role is or what their role could be based on anything that could happen during the game. And then as far as, injury prevention, it's a part of this game. We always talk about the injury rate is 100%. You play this game long enough, you're bound and determined to deal with injuries. So I don't really, there's no magic formula, to try to to avoid injuries. You're just trying to get a team ready to play and hope that, they're doing everything they can to take care of their bodies and that you're smart with these guys as they're coming back from, they're working their way back or how sore the team is or, traveling on a short week or whatever it may be.
Jared?
Yeah, Mike, everybody likes to ask questions about the play caller when things don't go well, but on offense, obviously the offense has been very, very good. How much of that is Arthur and Ryan working together? And when you watch the tape, what is your evaluation of how Arthur's feel for the game and calling the game has grown?
Well, we're 2 games in, so, I hate to give any sort of evaluation. I do think that they have a very good relationship. You touched on that. I think that's critical that the quarterback and the guy that's calling the person that's calling the plays are on the same page. They're kind of seeing the game in the same light. So I have good conversations with Arthur and the rest of the staff, but in all phases of our team, we're going to have to clean up some things and continue to improve. And that goes offensively and special teams and defense.
Running out of time here, but some follow-up here. Teresa?
Mike, Jadeveon Clowney, 62 snaps yesterday out of 75. Is that maybe more than you'd like to have him and just a matter of the fact that the depth situation?
We're going to just try to to get the guys in there, Teresa, I don't know how many snaps is too much or too little. You know, we all have a job to do. Their job is to be ready to play every play. And if they don't, then they'll be ready to play whenever they get back in there. I don't really know how to gauge that. If they're healthy, then they're going to play. And then if they're, you know, they're not asking for a break, and you know, we'll just try to determine that each and every week, that how the rotation goes or who we have available.
Buck.
Hey, Mike, it looked like you guys had a pretty strong day in pass protection yesterday. What are you seeing from the five guys on the offensive line as they're kind of settling in together now that they have, you know, consistent time to play next to each other?
Yeah, probably the best thing that group did was to give Ryan some time to progress through his reads. You know, we have to block. We have to block better in the run game. We got to run better, and we got to block support better in the run game. But you know, I think at least allowed Ryan some time. It wasn't perfect, but there were times where he was able to get off the first or second read and progress through.
Paul?
Could 12 snaps for Correa be too few, Mike?
Could not too, so I don't know.
I mean, you said you don't know how much is too few and how much is too much. Is there a percentage at which Clowney is playing a 75% Clowney is not as good as 100% Correa rested?
I was never that good in math, so I apologize with the percentages. You know, we have different personnel groups. We have, you know, we try to match personnel sometimes, and you know, based on each and every package, you know, just trying to get the group in there at any given time that we feel like gives us the best chance.
Jim, last one.
Like, I know it's already in prep work for the Vikings, but kind of what stands out? What kind of challenges are you going to be faced on Sunday?
Always going to, you know, this defense is, you know, I mean, they're a good defense. They're talented. They're well coached. You know, and I think we have to be, you know, very concerned with this running back. It's dynamic. They got two good tight ends. Thielen is fantastic. He's tough to cover in single coverage, but you know, they got two really good safeties. Their linebackers are active, and so you know, it'll be important for us to get moving on these guys and to have a plan that our players are confident in.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mark.